What about on the pitch? I know you were chasing 3 signings last week. What's the latest with that?
Well, I'm hoping to tie at least one up today. Obviously, speaking to representatives of the players last week, players are due back on holiday over the last weekend, so we're going to get one in today, hopefully before Friday. Hopefully another one or maybe 2 will put pen to paper.
You won't give names, obviously, but people are looking at the defence, needs a few people, probably one up front, goalkeeper. Are they in those sort of areas?
Well, definitely a goalkeeper. We've got a defender as well. But if I'm honest, I still think I think the squad's running at about 15 or 16 now. So we're looking at running with about the sort of 22 mark. So we're looking for another probably 6-7 players. So yeah, I'm fully aware that the defence needs strengthening in terms of bodies, in terms of probably a little bit of experience. So hopefully the player that comes in today to sign his contract, it'll be one addition there. Hopefully the goalkeeper will sign probably at some stage today, although he's actually based in Ireland at the minute. So, but yeah, we're hoping to get probably those 2 tied up today, and probably with, like I say, another 1 or 2 additions before Friday.
It is a big week, isn't it? Because players' contracts run out traditionally on June the 30th, so there'll be a lot of free agents come Friday. Yeah,
I think that this is the game of poker that footballers play sometimes. In terms of, they know the contract run out at a certain time, so they like to play the cards very close to the chest. Now what we see at this sort of stage of the season, pre-season, is 1 or 2 footballers that find out that they haven't got clubs and have to cut the cloth accordingly. So we're hoping to, the players we've been talking to for the majority of the close season are we can come to some sort of arrangement with and bring 1 or 2 good players into the football club.
Mansfield does have a reputation as probably being one of the wealthier clubs in the Blue Square Bet Prem. Has that made negotiations difficult in a certain way?
I don't think it's added to anything or made negotiations easier or harder. I think, if I'm honest, Mansfield Town are probably one of 10 clubs that are going to probably be competing in that top 10 next year in terms of the financial structure. So there's clubs that pay more money than us. There's a few clubs that pay less money than us. What we've had to do, we've had to be really, really patient with 1 or 2 individuals. We have lost out to 1 or 2 that wanted to stay in the Football League, and if I'm honest, rightly so. As a footballer, you want to be playing at the highest level. We've made 1 or 2 great offers to what I thought were fantastic players that would have really sort of put bums on seats in the stand. But at the end of the day, we're governed by footballers' mentalities that they want to play at the highest level. So hopefully, like I say, within the next week, I'm hoping to tie 2 up today, a goalkeeper and a defender, and before Friday, I'd like to see probably another 1, 2, maybe even 3 come into the squad before we start back. Added on to that, we've got at least 10 trialists coming in, all with good pedigrees, that played Football League clubs, that we want to have a look at, as well as probably try and nick 1 or 2 of the lads that are, like I say, that are playing the cards close to the chest. So hopefully it's going to be a busy period the next week or so.
Of course, that friendly with Rainworth, the first one, is not far away now. What is the timetable? When do the players come back in to start pre-season training?
Players are in this Friday. They report this Friday. All the normalities will get sorted out, training kit and club rules, etc. And we'll train Friday and Saturday, and then we'll really start and work the players from Monday onwards. We've got the Rainworth game, and that's a game that I'm hoping to have a look at 1 or 2 of the trialist lads, as well as we've got the under-19s now, and have a look at some of the 19s in that game, and see what we've got that's arrived on trial, and that we've already got at the club as well with the under-19s. So it'll be a tough game for them.
How do you, as a manager, I know the fans want football and they want the friendlies to come. As a manager, do you want to start getting into action and getting those matches played?
I just want pre-season to start, if I'm honest. This is probably the worst time for me as a manager, the close season. I'm sat in an office on the phone. I want to get my training kit on, as I know Mickey does. Like I say, that's where I think most managers earn the coin, if I'm honest. And I can't wait for Friday to start. You know, we've got a nice little nucleus. Obviously, we're going to add to it, and I think you know we've got one or two irons in the fire as regards one or two players that I think will excite the club.
A name that's banded around was Craig Disley. Were you actually interested in signing him?
I spoke to Craig a couple of times, yeah. You know, I know that Craig had signed for Grimsby now. He's one we missed out on. I'm saying missed out on. You know, we had Paul Boland and John Worthington, who were very, very similar types of players. You know, we signed John Worthington, and Grimsby signed Craig Disley. So, yeah, he's a good player. But this is, you know, I made a decision. I thought John Worthington was a better addition to our squad.
You mentioned there the sort of frustration of you know, sort of not getting out on the training ground. I mean, has it made it harder because of when you've come in? I mean, it's not like some managers would say come in halfway through a season and you can get to know the players straight away, but obviously you've not had that chance, have you, really?
No, I just think in general that the way I work as a manager is, you know, I like to be out there every day. I like my training kit on. You know, I like the mud and the rain, and I like to work with the players in terms of the structure, the mentality, the fitness, and I think that's, you know, that's been a frustrating time, Matt, if I'm honest, in terms of I hate being sat behind a desk just with a phone to me. I know it's part and parcel of the job, but you know, I think the closer the squad comes to being finalised, I think the more sort of excited I become, because you know that the training ground's just around the corner, and you can get them. You know, I just want to get them as quickly as possible into routines, into structure, to get the fitness levels right, and to know each and every one of them sort of individually.
Some managers don't like to get the balls out, get the footballs out too quickly. They like, you know, work on the fitness a lot before they put a football at a player's feet. But obviously, within 8 days of starting, you've got a game, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. Although, like I say, the training will sort of incorporate everything. Say, you know, I think there's a lot of clubs now that just go solely with the new regimes, as I call it. You know, with the working with the ball, we'll do a bit of everything. A little bit will be old school, a little bit will be with the footballs, and everything will be geared to get us fit and sharp, and more importantly than anything, mentally right for our first game.
Will the first team squad not be involved at all then in that Rennes game? Because you mentioned to Jason, I think, like the under-19s and trialists. So in terms of the actual first team squad, will that not be their first game? Well,
it just depends on one or two individuals. In terms of me wanting to have a look at them. You know, hopefully, obviously we're going to have a squad of around 22, 23. So there might be an infill of first team players. But what I want to do is I don't like to mess trialists around. I don't want to be sort of here, you know, a week before the season starts with 8 trialists that don't know their futures and be messing them around. So I prefer to chuck them in and make a quick decision on them. And these are fabulous games to have a real good look at these lads. There's one or two of them with real good pedigrees that obviously we know that could play against Rennes, but I want to sort of have a good feel for them, see if they've got the right mentality to come into this football club.
Yeah, I suppose the number of friendlies you've got gives you that kind of leeway, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know.
Yeah, we haven't got to be. I mean, we brought in the Nuneaton game. Obviously, we've got a squad of. If we've got a squad of 22 going into that game, I'm hopefully want to play two 11s. You know, and just to, because I was very mindful of the fact that we play Notts County as our first fixture, and then going into that game without any sort of proper game, time, is it could have implemented on the lads a little bit, mentally and physically. So I want everyone before the Notts County game to at least have had 45 minutes underneath the belt, just to make sure that the Notts County game could have been a game where I think we could have picked up 1 or 2 injuries if we weren't if we didn't have a little bit of game time under our belts.